Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and we're gonna kind of round out the Transformers Titans Return Wave 5 Deluxes. I've already looked at Misfire, and I guess I should stand her up a little more proper. I've already looked at Misfire, so here she is next to her wave mate Misfire. I've already looked at Twin Twist, and here she is next to that wave mate. By the way, for weapon storage in robot mode, I don't think I mentioned it, but I tend to just peg them in up here. It's unobtrusive to the arm movement, and they stay in there fine. I don't really see another place to put them. Maybe in right here. You might be able to. I'm just going to try it now before we get into this review. I guess you could probably, if you wanted to, you could store it down there. That was to your taste. But it's not what I choose to do. Anyway, those guys already looked at. They're both fantastic entries in the Titans Return line. As is this. And we're going to talk about everything to do with Windblade in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, share, check out Machinery of Man and the Everything Factor. Spend some time on the channel. Certainly check out Universal Collision, Season 1 of my stop motion series up now. Not gonna lie, the first few episodes there are kind of rough, but anybody who has followed me for any time knows that I'm looking to show progression in that art form over time. And this is Windblade, and I feel like she's been a little bit controversial, I suppose, because of her proportions. Granted, it looks like she's been hitting the gym. I don't call her chunky or anything like that. I think she's been hitting the gym. She looks a little more bulky, but I still think it matches the character just fine. Personally, this figure and what you think of her, a lot of it is going to come down to the aesthetics, I believe. So paint apps. Paint apps for this one. Well, I did look at, and I'll show this. Here's her earlier incarnation, the Generations one. Ooh. And I looked at the Generations one, who is certainly, I'm just trying to get her to stand here, which we all know is a bit of a chore with Windblade. The Generations one certainly is more slender, more petite. When it comes to paint apps, I had scored her at a 7.5 and 8 if you wanted to push it, because she really should have had black thighs. Her face sculpt is nice, the paint is nice, but it's not quite accurate. And she really should have had some blue on the knees and some red out on the wings. If we are trying to make her animation accurate to what has become her popularized animation. Even though when this first came out, I don't know if we really had a popularized animation at the time. We do now, and I think that the Titans Return one better fits that aesthetic. So much so that I'm going to score her paint at a 9.5. She's missing a bit of blue on the knees. I may add that eventually myself. Maybe even a little bit of blue on the wrists, but besides that, she is largely very accurate. And I totally dig that. She comes with, and I'm going to take her out, she comes with, of course, instructions, because, you need instructions, evidently. This is her box art, and I'll back it up. I'll back that up there. I really kind of dig it. I love her look up here. I think it's fantastic. And of course we have product shots on the back, as we always do. It's a box, so what? To get a better look at her and that head sculpt, that glorious head sculpt. And what I find interesting is there's a lot more black on this, but here is her collector card. look at the wings. The wings have a lot more black on them than we actually got. I feel like overall she has more black on her, or the red isn't as pronounced. On the back, these are her tech specs. I think that they're, you know, they're pretty cool. With Scorchfire, I think is her Titan Master's name attached. Is it Scorchfire? Yeah. With the Titan Master attached, you can see that the strength becomes an 11, speed is a 10, and Fire Blast is a 12, and intelligence is an 11. So she's a smart cookie, and a powerful one. Doesn't really shock me. She comes with two. I'll get these off for now. She comes with two of these swords. I think they're molded really nice. I totally dig the swords. If this can focus on them. There we go. I totally dig the swords. I love the look of it. Now, they attach really strangely. When she's in her plain mode, there are little yellow translucent pieces right here that can tab up under her wing. And when she's in robot mode, it's actually kind of ingenious. If I can find it here, you have a little translucent yellow tab right here by my thumb, and that little translucent yellow tab is what goes into her back, basically. It does it on both of them, but if you put the swords together, we get a bigger translucent peg here. And when she's in plain mode, that can tab in on top. And of course, we would put Scorchfire in here. There's a little divot there for her to place her feet. And I get these little arms up out of the way. And that's how she fits in there. All right, it's not particularly secure, kind of like twin twist top spin. If you fiddle with it a bit, you might get it a little bit better. But I dig the swords, and of course she could hold it as like one massive sword here. You know, a gift from the cities that she speaks to, maybe, I don't know. But I love the silver that's used on it. I think these look glorious. I really do. That being said, I adored her sword from the Generations line too. In terms of her Titan Master, well, the face is painted and that's really about it. The rest is just black. Nothing to get particularly excited about. It looks, you know, it looks okay. And when we close it over, however, we get a beautiful face sculpt. I love that head sculpt. I think it looks very Windblade-ish. It is glorious, absolutely glorious. Again, the Titan Master's maybe a 2. It's nothing, you know, it's nothing to write home about, nothing to get excited about. Putting the Titan Master back in and bringing Windblade back in, she can, of course, hold her swords in her hands just fine. No problem to do that. And for what I was talking about in terms of the storage, that little, I guess, smaller half, you know, rectangular peg can fit in up right here next to the nose cone. So you can take this sword, for example, and you can put it in right there, and this sword, and you can store it in right there. So she can store both of them on her back. I think that's great. I'm a little bit confused why her Fire Blast though is 12 when these are swords and not blasters, unless the VTOLs can fire, possibly. Okay, so paint apps, like I said, easily a 9.5. Let's get into the articulation for her. Left, right, a little bit up. She can certainly, oh, I just actually popped the Titan Master off. That's never happened before, but of course it would on camera, naturally. This would be just the time that it would happen. She can look down, which I think is pretty cool. I like that. Picking that up. She does not have a waist swivel. That's a bit of a shame. The arms can go well out to the side. We have definitely a 90, if not a 91, 92 degree elbow bend. We have a bicep swivel. Nothing at the wrists. Her Generations version does have swivel at the wrist. We have soft ratchets out. I don't really understand why, but she does full splits. Legs go way forward. They can go way back. And we get a very deep knee. Thigh swivel, and the toes can tilt. I scored the articulation of the other one. I said it should have been a 9 to a 9.5, but because the Generations version has problems standing, I lowered it to a 6 because that's kind of unacceptable. She can stand like a champ. This one, the Titan's Return one, stands like a champ. But we do lose a little bit of articulation. Most notably, the waist swivel and the wrist swivel. As such, I'm going to score the articulation of this one at about... I'm going to score it at about a 7. It's good. She certainly stands, but it's you know, it's still got a couple of weaknesses that we can't just ignore. So we have a 9.5. We have a 7. Right now, we're at about a solid 8.25. Which I think is respectable. Let's get into the transformation. Well, we pop off Scorchfire. And a lot of times I like to mod these so that we can get rid of the whole Titan gimmick, but we can't here because as we close this up, there's a red, I guess rectangular tab here that will go into that Titan Master slot. So we bring this up and over. And we snap it in. By the way, before I do that, the backpack is pretty egregious. It's fine because the wings, you know, sort of flail back a little bit, so it doesn't bother me, and it doesn't hinder articulation, but she has a huge backpack. Bringing that up and over like that, you can see how this is started. Now, we point out the toes, and just like with Scourge, we extend the waist. Except now we're just going to bring the feet up over. These little red, I guess we would call them wings, fins, they actually need to go down in here, and the feet have a little hole on the bottom that goes over a rectangular tab in here. So it goes together sort of like a puzzle piece. Extend that out, and you're going to angle the leg up a little bit like this, sort of like you would do with Trigger Happy, Misfire, and I need to, here's the thing, I pulled this down, I started to do that, but you need to pull this down and listen till you hear a click. And believe it or not, that millimeter or two that gives you the click also gives you the clearance you need to get this foot up. If you don't do that, you're not going to be able to get that leg up and in like that. And this one comes up over and goes up and in as well. The legs do not tab together or anything, they're just there. Next, we straighten out the arm and we turn it up. How do I know that we turned it up? Because there's a little red tab here, and that's going to tab in a little slot right there. Now you can't do it now because the tab's up here and the slot's down here, so you need to take the shoulder and bring it down, and once you have the shoulder down, assuming you have it down far enough, you tab that arm up. Same over here. You turn it so that the fist is facing, or the palm of the hand is facing toward the top of the plane. You bring the whole arm down, and again you take that tab and put it up in the slot that's right here. up just like that, and you straighten down the wings, and boom. Here is Windblade in her jet mode. Obviously it is a little more stylized because we have those windswept wings, those backwards rear facing wings. It's not completely accurate. There's a lot of red. I like the black of the Generations one better, to be honest with you. But I think this might be more accurate. These can turn if you're so inclined and want that done. When it comes to the Titan Master, Scorchfire, naturally you can open the cockpit, but you don't open it from the back, from the front. Sorry, is it the back you open it from? Yeah, you don't open it from the front, you open it from the back right here like this. You take her and seat her. I'm assuming that Scorchfires are her, maybe not, maybe Scorchfires are he. Inside right there. You can take the swords, and you have two options for what you want to do with the swords. I pointed out this yellow translucent piece, and there's a slot right here in the wing, so you can take the two swords, and assuming you can line it up, which of course does not want to work for me now. There. You can put it up under the wing like that, and of course you can do it on this side obviously as well. And it's not as hard as I'm making it look. It's just trying to find that, you know, slot that's in the black section of her wing is challenging. So you can do that. And I believe that's the way it is in the stock photography. Of course, you also have another option. You can take those out. You can put them together. And now you have this rectangular section right here. And on the top we have a circle with a rectangle in it. And you can take the peg and do that with it. And have that on the top if you so want. Can you have it facing toward the rear of the plane? I'm not sure. I don't think so, because I think the legs are up too high. Yeah, you can't. I don't think so anyway. No, that's not going to work. You're not going to be able to put it in reverse. That being said, is there anything else to say about her? Yes. One other thing that I did not point out, there is a landing, not gear, there's a landing skid. It's a bit of a chore to get out. There you go. There's a landing skid because these little fins on her arms become two landing skids. This is a third landing skid, so there you go. You know, she can be on the ground and look fine. I don't know how she's supposed to go down a runway, but I guess with the VTOLs, she probably doesn't, because she turns these things straight and she'll take off. Okay, so transformation is easy. Considering what she has in store for weapons, I think it's largely effective. I don't have an issue with it. I'm going to give her transformation, again, about a 9. It's pretty good. That being said, some people have complained and said, hey, it's too easy. I think that was intentional. A lot of people complained about how hard the Generations Windblade was to transform. And I think that this was in response to that and said, hey, we want to give people a quality figure that's easy to transform. So if you like a more complicated transformation, or you like more black, or you like a more petite silhouette, stick with the Generations. Or possibly the RID Legends, if you're okay with thinking outside the box from the Generations line. The alternative is an easier transformation with more red and a figure that is now, you know, a Titan Master but still pretty effective with a bulkier, more muscular type of silhouette. Depends on what you like. With all of the marks, overall, I think that this version of Windblade is a solid 9. I like it. I do. But I also like the aesthetic. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I feel like people are going to be really opinionated about her, and I'd love to hear what your opinions are about her. So, you know, as always, let me know. I thank you for dropping by. I thank you for giving me some of your valuable time, and I look forward to the next time that you and I get together for another visit right here inside the video.